hooray for Hollywood. Or is it? They say that Hollywood, California is the land of dreams where just about anything can happen, and often does. Every year, thousands of actors flock to Hollywood armed with three things: hope, their talent, and a dream. Back in 1932, a young woman named Millicent Lillian, who would later change her name to Peg Entwhistle, moved to Hollywood from New York City with one goal in mind: to make it big in the pictures. When Peg moved to Hollywood, she lived with her uncle on Beechwood Drive, just in the shadow of the Hollywood sign. At the time, the sign read Hollywood Land. They would later remove the land portion of the sign in 1949, and it would become that iconic Hollywood sign that we all know and love today. Peg, as an actor, was not afraid to work hard in Hollywood. She was a very serious, dedicated, determined actor. And try though she might, audition after audition, she only was able to land small bit roles, and she figured this was not going to help her get anywhere in the business, but she kept trying. And eventually she landed one small speaking role in a film called 13 Women starring Myrna Loy. Now, the film itself never went on to garner any kind of critical success, and it was widely known for not even being a very good film. However, to Peg, it was everything. She thought that perhaps this time she might finally have a chance at making it. Well, unfortunately for Peg, it was not meant to be. Upon the film's wrap, she found out that her beautiful scene that she had worked so very hard on was left on the cutting room floor, essentially. And her wonderful role that she had worked so hard on was reduced to a mere cameo. This sent her into a complete tailspin. She struggled with a lifelong history of depression, and this would be, perhaps, the final straw. On the night of September 16th, 1932, she was feeling particularly low and depressed, and she went to her uncle to tell him that she was going for a walk to the drugstore to meet up with friends. Well, she did go for a walk that night, but she did not go to the drugstore, or she did not meet up with friends. She instead took the very long solitary hike all the way to the top of Mount Lee, where the Hollywood sign sat. When she reached the top, she noticed that there was a painter's ladder propped up against the letter H. In her extreme sadness, with a very heavy heart and a crushed soul, she climbed that ladder all the way to the top of the letter H and jumped. It wasn't until 2 days later that her body was found, and she was barely clinging to life. Alongside her, she had left a suicide note which read, "I'm afraid, I am a coward, I'm sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain. Peg Entwhistle." Now, the 50-foot fall had left her crushed, her pelvis crushed, and she lay there, slowly bleeding out, dying, watching her dreams crumble away under the twinkling lights of the Hollywood Land sign. And a couple days later, in a very ironic and cruel twist of fate, her uncle received a phone call from the Beverly Hills Playhouse to inform him that Peg had landed a role in one of their upcoming productions. And even stranger still, that role would be that of a woman who would go on to commit suicide later in that show. Life imitating art, art imitating life, that's up for you to decide. Peg's light may have gone out, but her spirit definitely remains. Peg's spirit is said to be very restless as she wanders and roams the Hollywood Hills, Griffith Park, and she is definitely said to haunt the Hollywood sign. She's most often seen as a woman dressed completely in white, moving at incredible speeds, but when approached, she vanishes instantly. Some also say that they can smell a heavy scent of gardenia in the air. Gardenia is a flower, of course, but it was also a favorite perfume of Peg's, which she wore in life. And perhaps that may be why some are able to smell gardenia. But it's also important to note that gardenia is not a flower that is at all native to the region of the Hollywood Hills. So, next time you are visiting the Hollywood sign, or you are in Griffith Park or the Hollywood Hills, and you catch a whiff of gardenia, take a moment and remember Peg as I imagine she'd like to be remembered. A young actor with a lot of hope and a big dream.
If you like that video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be alerted to new videos as they arrive. For more information on Hollywood's Haunted Tours, visit hollywoodshaunted.com. See you in your nightmares.